morning, everyone. I'm your host for today, Catherine Farrell, filling in for Olivia Cohen, and we're coming to you live from the Dörfner Judaica Museum here at the Hebrew Home. And today is Monday, August 17th, and it's 10:30 a.m. And here we go. Okay. Okay. I think I'm the only one that seems to have these teleprompter issues. Anyway, we have a great show planned for you today. My goodness. Stand by, please. Do you know why it's doing that?
Super slow.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Oh, okay. Okay, back on track. Sorry about that, everyone. Today is going to be a high of 80 degrees, and it's a 50% chance of showers this afternoon and tonight. Oh my goodness. Yeah, not fun. Okay, plan B. I was prepared this time because of last time's teleprompter fun. So moving into our day in history, in 1933, Major League Baseball player Lou Gehrig plays record 1,308th consecutive game. That's a lot of work. 1962, the Beatles, consisting of John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison, replaced the group's drummer Pete Best with Ringo Starr. I had no idea there was another drummer to the Beatles, so that's interesting. And in 1969, this is fun, this is the official last day of the Woodstock Music Festival, billed as 3 days of peace and music near Bethel, New York. The following day, the 18th of August, the concert continued with 11 artists playing, including Jimi Hendrix, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Blood, Sweat and Tears, and others. And so 32 of the world's best-known musicians have appeared in that festival, including The Who, Jefferson Airplane, Joe Cocker, Sly and the Family Stone, Joan Baez, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Janis Joplin, Creedence, Grateful Dead, and again, Blood, Sweat and Tears, Ravi Shankar, Santana, and the legendary Jimi Hendrix. Many believe it was the greatest gathering of the 1960s and still thought to be the greatest live concert. I have heard from my neighbors growing up as a kid that my mother actually went to Woodstock, although I don't think she made it there. I think maybe the van broke down on the way. But it's a little piece of personal family history for me, and so I love Woodstock. Today is Vanilla Custard Day, and it is also Black Cat Appreciation Day. Does anyone have any cats out there that are black? I have a black and white cat, a tuxedo. He's a kitten, actually. His name is Sergeant Piper. So I have a special place in my heart for the black ones and the black and white ones. Anyway, just a little interesting facts about black cats. If they have the tabby stripe gene, the fur can turn a rusty brown if they've been sitting in the sun for too long. So that's pretty cool. They can, I guess, color change. They were companions to sailors. Sailors and fishermen thought that having black cats on board the ship would bring them good luck. And it didn't hurt that they ate the rats too. So black cats are not a single breed. There's actually 22 cat breeds that have solid black coats. Japan's Black Cat Cafe, there's a cafe in Japan that is entirely devoted to black cats. So customers can come in and enjoy company with black cats when they go to the Black Cat Cafe. In ancient Egypt, all cats were considered sacred, and so they were worshipped, and this includes the black cats. Today's celebrity birthday is Mae West. And this is another little personal tidbit. My mother's middle name was May, and so my daughter, when she was born, I wanted to honor my mother, and so we named my daughter's middle name May, also spelled M-A-E. So Mae West was born August 17th in 1893 in Bushwick, New York, U.S. She was known for, she was a comedian, a writer, an actress, and best known for pushing the bounds of acceptable behavior. She began in vaudeville, making a name for herself, and was invited to Hollywood in the early 30s, where she became known for her bawdy double entendres, which pushed the bounds of what was accepted as decency, meaning she ran into many problems of censorship in her work. During her time in Hollywood, she starred alongside such greats as Randolph Scott, George Raft, Cary Grant, Marlene Dietrich, and James Stewart. So we don't actually have any resident birthdays today or any staff birthdays, but happy birthday to anyone else who's maybe watching and out there in YouTube land. So today's lunch is going to be meatloaf with mushroom gravy and mashed potatoes and peas. And then dessert, we'll have fresh grapes. Entree is going to be, tonight's dinner will be soup, the mushroom barley soup, fresh fish croquettes, stewed tomatoes, and strawberry applesauce. Sounds delicious. So it is my privilege to interview another member of my team in Therapeutic Arts and Enrichment Programs Department. Please help me welcome Peter Stan to the show.
Thank you.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
Good. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I love your signature glasses.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Yeah. So how did you find your way to the Hebrew home, and how long have you been here?
I've been here going on my 16th year.
16 years. Okay.
I'm happy to say I got my plaque award last year.
Right.
For 15 years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And how did I find my way? It's a long story, but I'm going to make it short.
Okay.
20 years I used to do the Sunday concert with a amazing clarinet klezmer player, Harold Seletsky, who's no longer with us. But we done the Sunday concerts time to time. And then I came up with the idea of, let me call this, after 5 years of doing that, I said, let me call up, at that time it was Miriam Berlinger, she was the supervisor. Mm-hmm. So I said, she always loved me, so I called her up one day, I said, hey, what do you think about me coming once a week? Coming and play, going on the floors.
Sure.
And just playing. She goes, that's a good idea, let's try it. You want to come in one day and just try it, see how you feel about doing it? So she was a little bit nervous about me going on the floors. I don't know why, but she goes, yeah, let's just go try it. So I went to the floor. I played something. Was a little loud. She goes, and some of the residents a little loud, but they loved it. So right after that performance, she goes, I want you to come one day a week. And then after that, it went into 2 days. Mm-hmm. 3 days, and now I'm here 16 years later.
So that's incredible that you really carved your own position here.
Yes.
There wasn't an opening, there
Yes.
wasn't a call for a musician, you just intuited that is what was needed, and it was.
I'm kind of known for doing that. Yes.
Okay. And so your role here is you're a musician, a music specialist.
Yes.
And so how long have you been playing music in your life?
I probably before I was born.
Okay.
But actually, I got my dad plays the accordion.
Okay.
And my two brothers.
Okay.
They stopped, but I really got serious around age 7.
Okay, I was going to ask you.
Maybe 9.
9. Okay. Yeah. So do they make child-size accordions?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
This is a medium-sized accordion.
Okay.
When I've played the big places like Carnegie Hall and Russian Tea Room, I have a bigger, fuller sounding accordion.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it's louder. The bigger
not
one
it's
is louder.
It's just different.
Just different.
It's
Okay.
different. Loud doesn't mean nothing. It's not music is not about being loud. It's about being beautiful.
Right.
And carving it into nice sounds.
Right. Okay. Interesting. I don't know anything about the accordion, and so your family is a family of accordion
Right. My
players.
two brothers play accordion.
Okay.
Well, they stopped. They went into other fields. I'm the one who got stuck with it.
Okay.
How many of you out there played accordion when you were 5 years old, 6 years old, and have it somewhere in the basement now that you can't even find it? I have many residents saying, I have one in the basement somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So many of them brings back memories when they see the accordion.
Yes.
One of the residents say it brings back his memories of nightmares because he had to perform somewhere and it went terrible. So when he sees the accordion, he doesn't have a good memory. But most people love the accordion, and today I have to tell you, because you don't see the accordion much.
Yeah.
It's a lost instrument. I mean, 15 years ago, people thought of it just as a polka instrument, the corny polka sound. I mean, not to put it down.
Right.
But the polka sound and this and that. But now, over in America, it's not popular. But in Europe, it's such a cool instrument. They do classical big competitions and all different styles.
And you play there too, right? You go over and you play in Europe?
Oh, much, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've told many of you I've traveled all over Europe, Zimbabwe, Africa, Hong Kong, many places all over the world.
That's incredible. Do you play any other instruments?
I play piano, but I don't say that in front of a piano player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. So tell me a little bit more about Peter as a person. You know, do you have any other hobbies, interests?
Unfortunately, it's just music.
Just
I love
music.
music. I'm always practicing, and when I go home, I practice again. I do play in many bands. I play in a band called Slavic Soul Party. It's a 9-piece band.
Oh, okay.
And we've played some big festivals. We've also performed at Carnegie Hall there.
That's impressive.
The Montreal Jazz Fest, that was a great event we performed. I played in klezmer bands, Yale Strom. I play a few klezmer bands. What else? A bunch of French musicians. I do everything that pays the bills.
Well, you're extremely talented here.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have any secret talents? You know, maybe something that you wouldn't think that a musician would be able to do.
Let's see. A secret talent is when I was a child, I haven't told many people this, I was in love with Bruce Lee.
Okay.
So I'm a secret kung fu fighter.
Okay.
So that's one of, I don't know how well I do it anymore, but that's one of my secrets. I love kung fu and Bruce Lee still.
Okay, so the movies and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still an addict to that.
Great. Well, Peter, would you like to share some music with us today?
Sure.
That'd be great.
And let me just take a second. I've explained this before,
Okay.
how the accordion works.
That'd
But
be
many
great.
of you ask how the accordion works. I'm just going to take a second. Many of you have understand how it works because I've explained it to you. But there are 3 main parts to the accordion. I mean, everything is important. But this side is the piano side, which plays the melody. The bellows, which is the air, I constantly have to go out and in to get sound. It's a wind instrument. All these small buttons, confusing small buttons, I have no idea what they are. Just kidding. It's consisted of the circle of fifths. So I have 3 rows of bass notes going all the way down in the circle of fifths, and then I have chords. So bass notes, like, let me give you an example. And then I have the chords, minor chords and 7 chords, diminished chords, 7 minor chords. So those are the 3 main parts. So we have the piano melody side, the bellows that constantly gives the air, and the bass notes. What are these buttons? These change the sound, the timbre. See, I can get a high sound by just pressing one button. I can get a low sound. So that's my short explanation of the accordion.
Thank you.
So maybe I'll play a song now. Or
Great, yeah, absolutely.
a short song. Maybe I'll do a short version of "Killing Me Softly." That I haven't played that in a long time, but I started playing that song again, and the residents seem to really like it. This is my own version, and then I'll go into something else for a sec. Make a short version of 2 songs. Here we go. This is a short version of Hungarian Dance. Thank you. That was Hungarian Dance.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure to have you on as a guest. I know that you perform for the residents.
Thank you for having me. And I want to say I love performing for the residents. Through my years here, playing at the Hebrew home, I've had some amazing experiences.
Yes.
Could I just take a second to tell you about one of them? So when I was playing at the Russian Tea Room, well, 15, whatever it was, before I started here, so it must have been, 25 years ago maybe. So the leader of our band he was a tough leader. Then I hate to say nobody liked him because he was, just tough and grumpy. So yeah, I played at the Russian Tea Room about 6 months. So maybe 3 years ago, I go on the JR building, and I see a name on the door, and I just didn't put it together, and somehow it just rings a bell. I wasn't sure. I was telling myself, where do I know this name from? And then I seen him. I talked to him, and I just couldn't, because he changed so much, so I couldn't recognize him. And then it rang a bell, the name, and I said, wait, do you have a brother who maybe plays the violin? I just didn't put it together.
Yeah.
Or someone, and he goes, nope. He would still had that, no brother, I don't have. I go, well, wait, do you play violin?
Yeah.
And he said, yes, I do.
Oh.
And then I said, wait, did you play at the Russian Tea Room? And he said, yes.
Wow.
And I said, do you remember me? We played together for a while.
Yeah.
And then his attitude changed then a little bit. Yeah, but for me, that was a very touching experience to see him there and just the way I put it all together. Yeah, that was.
Life has a funny way of making a full circle and
and
coming back around.
I could give so many stories that that I've had here throughout the years.
It's really important that you mention the connections here, because it really is why we do what we do every day.
Yes.
Right? Not just your personal connections from your history, but the new connections that we make with the residents and the joy that you bring them every day with your accordion and just by being up on the neighborhoods and being with the residents. It is really special and
connecting. Connecting. I done a program for Carnegie Hall, and it was called Connecting. We used to go to prisons and all different places and perform. So that was a big program. And music is great. You have to be a great player. But as a musician, what's really important is to connect to people.
That's right.
And have the warmth. That's a real performance, when you can connect to people and just have a personality.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Peter.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
I'm
you
going
for
to put
joining
my
us.
glasses and get off the show. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Catherine.
Oh, that was so great. So, on to our positive news story for today. 2 captive belugas were given the chance of a better life when they were relocated from China to a new sanctuary in Iceland. The 11-year-olds, known as Little Gray and Little White, had spent 7 years performing for audiences at Changfang Ocean World in Shanghai. But in 2019, thanks to the British charity Sea Life Trust, they were freed and transported 6,000 miles around the world, 30 hours by air, land, and sea, to reach the world's first retirement home for oceanic animal performers. Over the past year, the female pair has been cared for inside specialized pools on Haimei Island. Now they've made another big transition. On August 8th, Little Gray and Little White were moved to the open water section of the Beluga Sanctuary in Kletsvik Bay. It's the first time in 11 years that the belugas have swum in the ocean. Kathy Williamson, who runs the End of Captivity program at Whale and Dolphin Conservation, told China Daily, "The world's first whale sanctuary represents a pathway to the end of the keeping of whales and dolphins confined for entertainment." This is really big. "We're proud to be a partner of this important project that will improve welfare for these belugas and show the world that there is an alternative to whale and dolphin captivity." The bay itself is large, secluded, and beautiful. At 30 feet deep and nearly 350,000 feet wide, there's lots of space for Little White and Little Gray to swim and explore and to play and to make big dives in the water. Now that they're in their new home, These two belugas have been showing off their personalities. According to Sea Life Trust team, Little Gray is a very playful whale. She's always curious and willing to learn new things, and she has a mischievous side to her personality and likes to spit water at the animal care team. As for Little White, she's a little shy, but she still likes to play and forms close bonds with her handlers. Andy Boole, who's the head of the Sea Life Trust, says of their big move, "We're absolutely delighted to be able to share the news that Little Gray and Little White are now in their Bayside care pool and will need a short period of time to acclimatize to their new natural environment and all the outdoor elements before their final release into the wider sanctuary in Kletzvik Bay." Following extensive planning and rehearsals, the first stage of their release back to the ocean was as smooth as we had hoped and planned for. We're carefully monitoring Little Gray and Little White with our expert care team and veterinarians. If they adapt to their new home, they could enjoy several more decades of life in their natural habitat, and the sanctuary hopes to welcome other retiring aquatic performers in the future. What are your thoughts? Give us a call and any good news you've heard and would like to share on the show. You can reach us by dialing 2813, and you can leave a message, or you can reach out to your friendly TAP staff person on the floor or social services or any member of your care team, and they'll get it to us. So remember to tune into Channel 8 later today for a repeat of this show. Channel 88 at 6:30 for a repeat of this show. But on Channel 8 this afternoon and this morning, we have Kate. What's the Story with Kate at 11:15. Exercise with Deborah at 1:30, and Your Hit Parade with Larry Applewhite at 3:30. And don't forget, tonight we have Gil Harrell at 7 p.m. on Channel 88. So once again, this has been Catherine Farrell filling in for Olivia Cohen on Good Morning Hebrew Home. And I will leave you with this inspirational quote for the day from Walt Disney. "The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing." Have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care.